There are currently 130,000 U.S. veterans in the United States that are legally blind, and 1 million plus vets with low vision, and every single one is facing challenges every day. But we're here to help. This is Wisdom Tech Talk. Thanks for joining us with a live studio audience coming to you from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Our passion is to talk about new and old technology that may help blind or vision impaired people in their day-to-day life. Let's do it. This is Wisdom Tech Talk, and this is your host, Benjamin Keeley.
Alex, as always, you do a fabulous job just keeping us tied away in the studio, and thanks for that great warm welcome. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Wisdom Geek Club. Tonight we have a great little speaker with us, and we're going to be learning about a little bit of non-technology tonight, but we're always flipping it around so we get to educate and share that wisdom. So thanks for joining us. So I just want to remind everybody that you can listen to this webinar on our new TV station, on YouTube, and also on the radio station. So my name is Ben Keeley. I'm coming to you live from the Wisdom for the Blind studio in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And tonight's guest is Vicki, and she's going to be talking about a subject, and I'm going to introduce and chat with her for a second because I can butcher any kind of name that there is. Vicki, welcome to the studio. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We're glad that you can join us. So without me tearing it up, we're going to be talking about sleep disorder, and it's called Sleep 24. Help me with this.
Sure. It's non-24 hour sleep-wake disorder.
See, that's why I can't remember. It's more than 2 words.
Right.
Well, tell us first, get started. Tell us a little about yourself and where you live and how you got into the realm there, and who you work for, and then we'll get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to remind you that this is being recorded for play later. And also, if you have a question, please hold it for when we open up the floor. Vicki, so tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, sure. Thank you. My name is Vicki Preddy, and I am a mom of 2 boys, and that's probably the best part of my life. But I'm also a registered nurse. I graduated from Florida State University, so I'm a Seminole, and I have a master's degree in nursing education. So I have a bachelor's and a master's at both in nursing. And I am fully sighted, but I joined Vanda Pharmaceuticals in 2020 as a nurse educator. And I was completely new to non-24 hour sleep-wake disorder, and I was completely new to blindness. So this has been a fascinating learning experience for me to learn about both of those. But more importantly, I would say to meet all the people that I have met over the last 5 years. It's been a fantastic journey. And my role as a nurse educator with Vanda is to offer educational information and to put together programs about non-24 hour sleep-wake disorder. And I'm not a trained pharmaceutical account manager. I'm strictly an educator, so I like to bring that up so that people can know that they can ask me questions about the disorder itself. And typically, I have to defer those questions about treatment. But I'm a nurse educator.
Thank you very much, Vicki.
You're
I do
welcome.
want to set a little ground rule, and Vicki keep me honest. We're during the session, we're going to be opening the floor, and your questions should be about the disease or the disorder, not about the treatment plan. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Yep. So we want to honor that. So if you have a question, you can ask Vicki basically anything about the disorder, but comes to treatment, you need to check with your professional doctor. All right. So thank you for your introduction, Vicki. So tell us about the disorder and how do you know if you have it, or what is it all about?
Okay. Well, first, this will help you out a little bit, Ben. This disorder has a short name. It's just plain old non-24. So we simply refer to it as non-24. It's a little easier to say, but that actually is the name of the disorder.
So
And it's
you're playing with me because you could have told me that a long time ago.
I like to make sure everybody knows that. But it's the word non, N-O-N, and the number 24. So just plain old non-24. So start out by letting you know what non-24 is. So it's a rare and serious circadian rhythm disorder, and it's common in people who are totally blind. Now, you don't have to be totally blind to have non-24, but it can cause nighttime sleep problems and a range of daytime difficulties. And it would be things like an overwhelming urge to sleep during the day. It could cause decreased function at work or in school, and it can cause complications in someone's personal and their social life. So I'd like to go from there into the symptoms of non-24. I mentioned that non-24 causes nighttime sleep problems. Those can be described as insomnia-like symptoms. And specifically, people will have trouble falling asleep at night and trouble staying asleep at night. And they also may experience lots of sleepiness during the day. They often have sleep patterns that are the opposite of most other people's sleep patterns. In other words, they're awake and alert and active at night while most everyone else is resting and asleep. So the question is always, why is this happening? Well, non-24 begins with the master body clock, and that's something that everyone has. It's located centrally in our brain, and the master body clock regulates circadian rhythms, and those are the body's 24-hour cycles that control various physiological processes like sleep-wake cycles, body temperature, and hormone release. And those are just a few examples. But the body clock regulates or coordinates these rhythms, and it ensures that they function in sync with the external day-night cycle. Now, for most people, the body clock runs a little longer than 24 hours, and it resets every day to a 24-hour period of time when the brain receives environmental light information that is detected by the eye. So without light perception, a reset doesn't occur, and the master clock remains out of sync with a 24-hour day-night cycle. When someone has a non-24-hour body clock, it creates an ever-shifting sleep-wake cycle, which is why non-24 is classified as a circadian rhythm disorder, because that sleep-wake circadian rhythm is out of sync. So where can we go, or where could someone go to learn more about non-24? Well, Vanda has a resource center. It is located in Washington, D.C. That's where our company's headquarters is. And let me just tell you a little bit about Vanda while I'm talking about that. Vanda is a pharmaceutical company, and they research and offer resources for the condition called non-24. They were founded in 2002, and the company is still run by the founder of Vanda, and that is Dr. Polymeropoulos. And he's a psychiatrist by background, but he is still Vanda's the CEO. So we have a case management center at Vanda, and you can connect with a case manager over the phone and have or take an opportunity to share your sleep experience with that case manager and gain a better understanding of what non-24 is. Together, you and that case manager can determine which of the free resources we have would be most helpful to you. And one thing I'd like to show you is the audiobook. That this is just one of the resources that we have. And this is something I normally give out when I am out in the field, when I do a live presentation, when it's face to face. But I'm going to hold this up, and it's an audiobook in that what you do is you open it up just like you would a Hallmark greeting card, and you can.
Do you go through periods when you have trouble sleeping at night? Do you struggle to stay awake during the day?
So that is what we have available, just one of the resources that we have available at Vanda.
Excuse me, Vicki.
Oh, yeah, sure. Did I lose you?
Sorry, my button went off.
Oh, okay.
Is that a link that we could put on our website? And does it work with Victor Reader? And is that something that we can get to our audience?
So the way to get this, Ben, would be for me to have it mailed out because it's not something that's used with a reader. However, I would like to let everyone know that Vanda does have a very nice website, and it's just non-24.com. So if there are people out there that like to go to a website and kind of look around that, there's lots of good information on there. It's all about non-24. There are some podcasts on there. There are some videos on there, and though there are patient testimonials, so I say patient, but people who struggle with non-24, they're on there talking about their experience. So there's,
Great.
okay,
Yeah, can you share that website with us one more time?
sure. It's non-24.com.
Very cool. And ladies and gentlemen, check that website out. There's a lot of great information. Talking about information, Vicki, if you wouldn't mind, we have to check into the studio, and they need to just do their thing to keep us going. So, ladies
Okay.
and gentlemen, just bear with us for a few minutes. We're going to jump in and speak to Allie over at the Wisdom Studio, and she's going to just share some things with you, such as our fishing trip coming up next month and a few other things. So we'll be right back. This is Ben and Vicki, and we're sharing the non-24 story with you. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for returning with us. This is Ben. I'm coming to you from the Wisdom for the Blind Studios, and this is the Wisdom Geek Club, and our guest tonight is Vicki. Hi, Vicki. Thanks for sticking with us. So before the
Hi.
break, we were talking about your website and some audiobooks. The audiobooks, are they available on Victor Readers?
No, they are not, but they can be obtained if anybody would like one. I just need names and phone numbers. I'm happy to give out mine, and people can call me directly for that. Or I can, if anyone wants to share their information with me or through you, I can make sure that
That's,
that book gets sent to you.
that sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in that book, Vicki, what's your email address they can send to you?
Sure. I'll give it to you a few times. It's long. It's my first name, and that's spelled VICKI dot Preddy, my last name, PREDDY at Vanda, VANDA, Pharma, PHARMA.com.
Wow.
I wasn't lying.
And I can barely say the name of the disorder, and you want me to remember your email.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me help out a little. If you're interested in getting a hold of Vicki and you don't remember that email, you can write info at w4tb.org. That's info at w4tb.org. And if you send it there, or you were more superior than I am, that's probably the other Vicki that's on the call. That's good with those long emails. You can mail direct to Vicki and she'll help you out. So either way, we got you covered. So back to you, Vicki.
Sounds good. Would you like me to share my phone number?
Yeah, it's sure, no problem.
Okay, sure. It's a work number. It's area code 202-578-9060.
Repeat that one more time for our audience, please.
Area code 202-578-9060.
Perfect. Thank you, Vicki. And
You're
guys,
welcome.
remember that all this information, there is going to be a link under the Geek Club that you'll see Vicki's profile and her contact info and links to the website. So we got you covered there. So getting back to the disorder, Vicki, you were talking about the different training resources on the website. You want to continue at that point?
Sure. Yeah, the website is very educational, very and informational as well. There's also a button on there that you can click to connect with Vanda's Case Management Center. So if that's something you wanted to do when you're on the website, you can get right into to Vanda and talk to someone directly. But again, you're also free to reach out to me through my phone number or my email, and I would just connect you or have someone reach out to you. But there's a lot of different ways you can reach us, and the resources that we have are very nice. If you are struggling with sleep disturbances and you have vision loss, there is a chance that it could be related to non-24. So it's always helpful to learn about that condition in case that is what's going on. We don't diagnose people, but we can help you discover what non-24 looks like and help you kind of formulate some questions that you could pull together to use when you are in front of your physician.
That's great. And the physician that you would start with would probably be your internist. Is that correct?
Typically, that's where most people start. That's the person they tend to see the most for their for their general health care.
Great, great. So tell us a little more about your job responsibilities and some of the programs that you offer, please.
Sure. I'm glad you asked that question because as a nurse educator, what I do is I go around the Southeast. I cover 5 different states. I'm one of 4 nurses who are out in the field raising awareness of this disorder. And we work with various membership groups like different blindness organizations, and maybe their local chapters, state chapters. And we go and we exhibit. We give out these non-24 books and we do presentations that are similar to what we're doing today. And we just let people know what non-24 is so that they are aware of it. One of the reasons we're out there so much, Ben, is that it's a very rare disorder. And if we're not out there talking about it, people won't know about it. When Vanda did clinical research on this disorder, we discovered that, or we learned really that about 70% of people with total blindness were struggling with the symptoms of non-24. We're aware that there is a very low diagnosis as well as a low awareness of it. So we have to keep educating and getting out there by being in front of people who have vision loss so that they're aware of this and so that they know where to go for the resources if they need them or want them. But it can affect people with low vision as well as those who are sighted. Those 2 conditions it is more rare to find someone with non-24, even though they have low vision. And it's even probably more rare to find someone who's sighted with non-24, but it does exist. But the true rate of that in the general population isn't known. We just are familiar with the fact that we've been approached by people who are struggling with it.
And that's so important, Vicki. You know, the reason that Wisdom for the Blind was started is because the knowledge, the wisdom isn't out there. And to see your company taking the dedication to educate and pass the wisdom, I commend you guys. Great job for that.
Yeah, thank you. It's important. One other thing I'd like to mention, Ben, if it's okay, is oftentimes when someone goes to their physician to describe their symptoms, if you recall what I mentioned already was that the symptoms sound like insomnia, right? People struggle to fall asleep, to stay asleep, and then they have sleepiness during the day. So non-24 is often misdiagnosed because it seems like it's just plain old insomnia. But the cause of sleep disturbances in insomnia are different from the cause in non-24. So most of us have struggled with a night or two with insomnia type symptoms where we can't fall asleep and can't stay asleep. But in most cases, plain old insomnia or insomnia as a primary diagnosis is caused by stress and anxiety. And once that stressor is removed, the insomnia resolves. But with non-24, the master body clock is operating in a non-24-hour period of time, and that person has a misaligned body clock because they are lacking the ability to reset their body clock every day. Their sleep disturbances are not being caused by stress and anxiety. They're being caused by that misaligned body clock.
And then that makes so much sense because, like, if you're traveling abroad and you get that jet lag, you're getting this jet lag because the brightness of the sun is all messed up, so your body clock is messed up. So just imagine what you're talking about with non-24 is the same thing, but your body clock is messed up because you don't see the daylight. So
That's
it's
exactly right.
it's basically jet lag on steroids. You know,
Yes.
you get jet lag for a day or two, but with this, it seems like it goes on and on. So
Yes, it does. And it is cyclical. So there will be periods of time where somebody's symptoms are less noticeable. And that's because that clock is just always ticking, and that sleep-wake cycle will come and go in and out of alignment with a 24-hour day, but it doesn't stop. So it is considered a chronic condition. But like you said, with jet lag or even in parts of the country where people are in total darkness, if they simulate a normal 24-hour day-night cycle, they can manage their body clock so that their clock stays aligned and does not go out of alignment with a 24-hour day.
and good example, that's Alaska and places like that it doesn't get dark or it doesn't get daylight depending on what time of the year. And that's why our Congress is right now evaluating daytime savings. Is this really good and healthy? So I can
Right.
see how this all ties in together, and it's very, very interesting. And it's a great thing to research. Unfortunately, we got to check back in with the studio for just a few minutes and talk to Allie again. So it's a great dialogue going on there. Vicki, would you please be kind enough to stay with us for a few minutes?
Of course.
I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben and Vicki. We're coming to you from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in sunny Fort Lauderdale. At least I am. Vicki's playing in the snow, I'm sure, somewhere. And we'll be right back. We're just going to check in with Allie at the studio. Thank you. Stand by.
VA's Office of Blind Rehabilitation Services estimates there are approximately 130,000 veterans in the United States who are legally blind. and more than 1 million veterans who have low vision that causes a loss of ability to perform necessary daily activities. In this era of instant communication, where we get overwhelmed with data or facts that are useless to unsighted individuals, wouldn't it be great if we could count on news focused on real problems that impact the daily lives of veterans without sight? Introducing Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, an advanced informational portal designed by blind veterans specifically for blind and vision impaired vets that, like them, are facing challenges every day. Hi, my name is Ben, and I know the frustration. I've struggled in day-to-day tasks for over 20 years since I lost my eyesight. One of my biggest challenges has always been trying to stay up to date with the latest information of my eye disease, local news, and the ever-changing technology. I wanted to be able to have one single site that merged all the data scattered, and that's why we created Wisdom for Blinded Vets. This is a portal that can be accessed via the web, a smartphone app, telephone, email, text messaging, or Amazon's Alexa. It integrates with readers such as JAWS or Apple's VoiceOver and various other tools to give you a seamless experience. This portal will keep us updated on a variety of topics and will share knowledge that can help make our lives easier and more fulfilled. Highlights of the topics covered on the portal include podcasts, events, news, blind rehab and training, information on the BVA and other groups, a list of coordinator and bros list, online groups to interact with fellow vets facing the same challenges, and much more. Give us a try. You will not be disappointed. To learn more about us, visit our website www.w4bv.org. If you're interested in sharing your knowledge, please consider becoming a contributor by logging into our portal and going to the contributor section for more information. Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, transforming blind veterans' lives.
At Wisdom for the Blind, we believe in the power of shared knowledge, connection, and support. Every story, every event, and every resource we offer is made possible because of you. We are a listener-supported organization, and your generosity keeps the wisdom flowing. With a one-time or monthly gift, you help us bring encouragement, community, and life-changing resources to those who need it most. Join us today, because wisdom is a gift meant to be shared. Donate at w4tb.org. Click the red Donate Now button, and thank you in advance for your generosity.
If you need more information about Wisdom for the Blind, please email info@w4tb.org. Or you may call us at 954-WISDOM-4.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks. Welcome back to the Wisdom Geek Club. This is Ben Keeley. I'm coming to you from sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It hasn't rained in a few days, so I can call it sunny. I really appreciate our guest, Vicki. She's talking to us about non-24, which is a sleep disorder. And we're going to turn it back. Vicki, thanks for sticking with us. Before we move on, I'd like to just open the floor up for a few seconds. Is there anybody out there with a question? Please give your name, and then when I call on you, you can ask your question. Well, we got a good audience. No, everyone's taking good notes. So we're gonna move on. So Vicki, continue your story, please.
Okay, sure. One thing I'd like to mention too about non-24, Ben and the audience, is that this is not a new disorder. Oftentimes when I'm out in the field and working with people and they're hearing about it for the first time, they'll ask me that question, is this new? I've never heard of this. But the existence of circadian rhythms across all species, plants, animals, humans. We've known about that for about that circadian rhythms have existed for about 1,000 years, but it wasn't until the 1940s. That's about the time we discovered that, or the scientists really documented that circadian rhythms in humans are running longer than 24 hours. and that includes the timing of the sleep-wake cycle. So it was demonstrated at that time that bright light treatment could effectively shift and reset that internal circadian clock to keep those all of those circadian rhythms in sync with a 24-hour day. So again, not only is non-24 not new, but the existence of it has been around for a long time. And it's just, I would say, kind of newly studied. But if you compare knowing about it for 1,000 years to the 1940s, it's kind of new. But the first reports that the sleep disturbances may be related in people who are totally blind, that was discovered in about, well, the 1940s as well, around 1948.
And it really makes sense because, if you go back, like I talked about jet lag and stuff like that, but you get, you do studies of people at the North Pole, South Pole, all of those, they have definite sleep disorders that they actually study. And I really find this very intriguing. I want to get a hold of your audiobook there, and I want to listen to it for sure. So,
Okay.
but
Very good.
so what else do you want to share with us there, Vicki?
Yeah, sure. For anybody who is struggling with non-24, and if you think you have it and you want to talk to your physician about it, there's one thing that's really important that will help your physician diagnose this disorder is a review of your symptoms. So it's not just going in and saying, yeah, I can't sleep at night. It's keeping a journal. It's a lot of work on the part of the person who is struggling with sleep disturbances. But it's really important because, as I mentioned, this is a cyclical disorder. So it's going to be helpful to see in a journal or in a notebook what symptoms are occurring and how often they're occurring, and what your sleep patterns are like. That's when you have a journal or a notebook, you'll be able to record in there that you are having periods of time where there's good sleep, because I think I mentioned again where non-24, you will have periods of time where there's good sleep and there's not so good sleep. So a doctor will be looking for that, so as well as the overall symptoms that you're experiencing. And you're going to want to keep track of that for about 3 to 4 months. So now's the time to get started if it's something you really want to investigate, because that's going to be your biggest ally when you go in to speak to your physician.
So, Vicki,
Mhm.
let me ask you one of Ben's dingling questions. Okay,
Okay.
time for Ben's dingling questions, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back and hold on. So, Sleep Number has an app that's built into their bed. There's also different apps that are built into the iPhone and things like that, and you can get them all over the net that studies your sleep. Do
Okay.
these apps, have you ever studied to see if these apps work with identifying non-24?
No, I have not. I mean, I don't know much about those, but if they record your sleep, if there's some kind of sleep pattern being recorded, like
Yeah,
movement and stuff, that might be worth sharing for sure.
yeah,
But
they do. Yeah, like I have a sleep number, and my wife tells me every morning, it's like, you slept good last night, you didn't sleep good last night, and it's all based on your sleep movement. So,
okay.
and
Yeah.
I was just wondering how that would tie if you've done that study.
No, we haven't. I know that some physicians will order a sleep study for their patients. If you go in and say you're struggling with your sleep, a lot of physicians will order a sleep study. I
Is
don't
that
know.
kind of like the sleep apnea study, the sleep studies?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
yes, yeah. And
So,
oftentimes that's used, or that can rule out sleep apnea. It can't rule out non-24, and it can't diagnose non-24, but it can rule out some other disorders. So, if you kind of looking for things to eliminate, then, that could be helpful.
And I'd like to just, I want to start off by saying I'm not a doctor, but asking your doctor about sleep apnea. If you're not sleeping well and you find yourself tired when you wake up in the morning, that's something to talk to them about, because sleep apnea is when you pause your breathing rhythm several times in the middle of the night, which then you wake up because the body's automatically going to wake you up when you're not in total alignment. And so just tying this in with the non-24 and the apnea studies, it's a good way to nail things down, like Vicki said. So talk to your physician. Remember, I'm not a doctor, just a guy that likes to read about stuff. That's all.
Yeah. One thing that can be found, you brought up the website a couple of times, Ben. There on that website is a downloadable PDF. It can also be obtained from our case managers, but it's called a non-24-hour doctor discussion guide, and that helps you formulate questions, so that when you go in to talk to your doctor, you're kind of ready to go. You've got your list of questions. I know, even, no matter what you go in to talk to your doctor about, your time is usually pretty limited. So you want to be well prepared when you're in there and get right to the point and get your top questions answered. So using that doctor discussion guide will be helpful. In addition to using that sleep journal or that notebook that you go in with. And that prepares you so that when you're sitting there, you're ready to go, and you're ready to have that very focused conversation.
That's some very good advice. And one thing I want to comment, ladies and gentlemen listening, is that you are your best advocate. So the documentation and the studies that you read, on their website or any other website, printing that out and sharing that with the doctor, gets him engaged in what you're thinking, and it just makes for a better visit.
Mhm.
Because if not, your doctor's very busy. He's just going to go boom boom. But if you have a list of questions or some worksheets or some logs and you share with the doctor, he's going to stop, analyze, and then give you some great suggestions. So be your advocate and make sure that you read and study. Um, there's a lot of resources out there. So,
Yeah.
Vic,
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to turn it back to you there, Vicki.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I wanted to add a little bit of something to that. We a lot of times, even though somebody will go in well prepared like that, a physician may not be familiar with non-24. It is a rare disorder, so oftentimes we can help educate your physician or somebody's physician about this disorder. We can contact the office and send information to the doctor so that they're prepared with some information about the disorder as well. And so that's something we can do on someone's behalf to kind of get that ball rolling, that educational ball. And
I have a
just
question.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness! Wait a second. Is that David?
Yeah, sorry for joining late, Vicky. I was having some trouble here with my microphone.
No worries.
And you might have answered this question already, but
We did, so you'll have to sit and be quiet.
yeah. It's a two-part question. So I have all the symptoms, I would think, of non-24. However, I did hear you say that it's rare, but I have a little bit of light perception, very little light perception, but I do have it. So is there any studies or correlations between non-24 and traumatic brain injury, or TBI? So
There, none that I'm aware of, David. But I have met people that have had traumatic brain injuries and are struggling with that.
right.
We're just not aware of the rate that occurs.
Because I've spoken to my doc. I had a head injury due to a fall, concussion. So, I have all the symptoms of non-24. I've tried to talk to my primary care doctor about it. And, of course, he doesn't know anything about non-24 other than the basic information he's read. But he says it's probably due to your TBI.
Mm.
So, but of course, they don't have any answers of what to do, so other than we could try this medicine and we could try this medicine. I'm not big on trying medicines if we don't really know what they're going to be doing. So
Mhm.
I was just curious if you knew of any correlation between the two.
Yeah.
That's
Well, it's a really good question, David.
I only
And
ask good questions,
yeah, I was gonna say that too.
unlike Ben.
You may want to connect with our case manager to find out if they have any resources. The reason is I typically I only really work with people who have vision loss. And the case managers at Vanda may be able to provide you a little more um, information that's directed at what you're asking. I'm not positive of that, but if you're welcome to discuss it with them if you would like to. And there may be some resources that would help you and your physician.
Yeah, I'll make contact. I got down your email address and
Okay.
the information, so I'll make contact and talk to a caseworker and see what they suggest.
Okay.
so Vicky, David, I don't believe I'm going to say this, but I'll say it. I didn't say it, David. Don't get a big head. David asked a good question, and he made a good statement. He said that my physician doesn't know that much about it.
Mhm.
That being said, can you take it into your arms as your advocate and order some, like a handout that you might have on the website? Uh, the 411 on non-24 for our doctor.
Yes, we
We
can
just
do
use a little bigger words for him. That's all, right?
Well, you're pretty spot on there. I wouldn't actually do that, but a case manager from our resource center would just get your physician's name, call the physician's office, ask for permission to send out information. It often helps if we are able to say, David Coe asked us to do this. I'm just using your name as an example, David, but David asked us to send out some information on his behalf. Are you okay with that? And 9 times out of 10, they're fine with it. But that, like I said, that will get the ball rolling and they'll receive clinical information about non-24.
Great. And that just goes back to our mission statement at Wisdom. Share the wisdom. So if you feel that your doctor's not really up on a situation, if it's non-24 or if it's, you know, um, diabetic diseases in the eye or whatever,
Mhm.
it's a good opportunity to get them involved, and it actually helps them educate and help other people. So don't be afraid to be your own advocate. And when you're being your own advocate, you're also being advocates for others. So you're
Absolutely.
so you're
Absolutely.
you're sharing that wisdom. Great
Yeah.
question, David. Don't get a big head, please.
Well, I like what you just said, Ben, because it's you never know when somebody needs help, and you never know when you're going to be able to really enlighten somebody. They may not know you may not know somebody is struggling, and when you bring up a subject like this, and I've seen it a lot where people go, I can't believe it. I've I've had this for so long, and I never knew what it was. And like I said, we don't diagnose people, but it's often very comforting to at least say, wow, this could be it. So it's you never know who you can help.
Is there a drug that people can take? Because I missed that part of it. What is the treatment for that kind of disorder?
So
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ben. I'll let you say it.
um, the part you missed, David, is she's not allowed to talk about treatments. But if you talk to the case management side, they can lead you into the right direction. But there
Right.
is a website that talks a lot about it and share that. But she's an educational nurse dedicated to passing the word, but not treatment plans.
Yep, understandable.
So, how did I do, Vic?
That's perfect. I'm gonna record
I
that.
should be a lawyer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a compliance issue, David, and and not only that, I know the educational piece of it, but I'm not trained on the medication, so I would not be able to give you good, accurate, or correct information. And that's, so I'm just in the educational lane, and it's a good place to be.
So, guys, our time is wrapping up quickly. I want to open the floor to any more questions, and then we're going to let Vicki wrap it up. So, any more questions? Man, it's very quiet today. Vicki, you're doing a great job. We're going to have you come back on the show. So, in wrapping it up, any last minute things that you'd like to cover?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you all again for having me, and I'd love to come back if you'd like me to. Um, but a couple of things. If you are a member of any group, I know David doesn't know this, but Vicki from Tucson and I have the same name, and we grew up in the same town. We're both Vicki Lynn's from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Very strange. But anyway, if you are out if you're a member of any kind of group that meets on a regular basis, and you have educational people come in, or you have speakers come in, and you like to learn about this, if it's in Florida or the Southeast, I can come in and meet with you and teach your group more about Non-24. There's 3 other nurses that I work with throughout the country, and between the 4 of us, we can schedule something if you would like us to come in. So I like to say that we're out there ready and ready to
But you need to tell the truth. You guys fight who gets to go to the Bahamas. You fight who gets to go to Florida, but you're willing and ready to go.
Yes, well, I knew you first, so I'm a first in line.
There you go.
But I live in the Daytona area. I think I forgot to mention that in the beginning.
Oh
But
yeah, you did say that. So
yeah, I think,
um,
yeah, I live near Daytona Beach, but
yeah.
um,
One of the things you and I can touch base afterwards. We have a great VIS coordinator in Daytona, and he holds sessions all the time, and this might be a great one for him
okay,
to. So I'll get with you after the show on that
okay,
one.
perfect,
And
perfect.
he's right there at the VA in Daytona. So
I may know him.
you you probably do. He's a great VIS coordinator. So
Yeah, but we'll talk about him when you.
all right.
But yeah, so I'd like to just mention that, and we are here to advocate for you. So if you feel like you need some help, we're here to help you. We have lots of no-cost resources that will get you started, and just let us know if we can be of any service to you.
Well, great. And one more time, give us your website, your phone number, and your
Okay.
your email. Okay.
Okay, sure. You want that email again? Um, yeah, my email address is, I'm going to say it first. It's Vicky.Preddy@vandapharma.com. And it's my first name, Vicki, Vicki, dot, my last name, Preddy, Preddy, at Vanda, Vanda, Pharma, Pharma.com. My phone number is area code 202-578-9060. And then if you want to visit our website, it's www.non-24.com.
Well, I appreciate that. I want to remind everybody that all that information will be in one of the articles under the medical and partners section of the website. And if you didn't get any of that, you can send an email to our producers at info@w4tv.org, and they'll pass it on to Vicki for you. Well, Vicki, it's been a fun hour.
Yeah, thank you.
And I really appreciate you coming. I'm going to open the floor one last time. Any last minute questions? Okay. So I would just want to remind everybody that we have our fishing trip coming up on May 2nd and May 8th. We're doing 2 this year. We're doing a fishing trip again out of Clearwater in the Double Eagle 3. And then we're doing something new. We're doing a half-a-day trip out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So those are all a deposit. You get your deposit back when you show up on the boat. And both of them will have a lunch or a snack on board, depending on which ship you're on. Lunch on the Double Eagle, and it's a lunch, but it's whenever you want it during the time. The Fort Lauderdale trip leaves around noon, and the Clearwater leaves around 8 in the morning. So love to see you guys on there. Still have some seats, and if you're interested, you can email reservations at w4tb.org. That's the number, not the word. That's w4tb.org. Those are our fishing trips. And our big event, the Forum at Sea, October 19th, leaving out of Baltimore, and we're going on the Carnival Pride, our third annual tour success. The first one, we were learning. But last year we were on the Carnival. It was a great opportunity for everybody but one person on the ship, and that was me. But for those of you who didn't know, I hurt my foot, so I got bummed out. But I'm doing better on my foot, so that's a good thing. But that's going to be on the Carnival Pride. Going to Bermuda, we're going to have over 25 classes and a bunch of great activities, wisdom games, and all kinds of things. Special rates by Carnival just for our membership, and hope to see you there. And Dave, did I miss anything?
Nope, that all sounds great. And
Okay.
be sure to go on the website if you're interested in the Forum at Sea and register for the hotel and the shuttle.
Yep, they're all on there. So we have reservations for the hotel, and this year we're going to register ahead of time so everybody can get their shirts and then walk on, and we all look the same, like the Bobbsey family just arriving. So it's going to be fun, and we got 3 great parties going on. Maybe I'll sing this year. Who knows? I was a DJ last year, so you never know what Ben's going to pull out. It's whatever the staff talks me into. And they normally give me a bunch of cough medicine, and then they ask me these questions. So it's going to be a great time, and look forward to it. We just finished something the beginning or the end of last month. We took a group of veterans and our youth program to the National Drag Strip Race in Gainesville. Right? Gainesville, right?
Gainesville, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Gainesville Nationals. They had a great time, and we were just invited back. So we're going to have that happening again next year. And then we're working real hard with our partners, Lucky Strike, and
Bowling.
bowling league. And it's going to be a little different. So every state, every VIST office is going to have their own team, and you guys are going to compete with different teams around. So that is going to be a lot of fun. So Wisdom for the Blind is doing a lot of things. We have a great guy that runs our book club. He's a great host. It's David Coe. He hosts Wisdom Book Club the second Tuesday of every month. I host the Wisdom Geek Club, and we have a bunch of other great podcasts. The Path to Wisdom, that's a great show for our spouses. They get to learn how to use knots so they can hang you and all kinds of things. It's a great hands-on experience. No, they just learn what other people are going through so they can become super caregivers and great spouses or companions. So all kinds of great programs, 18 podcasts. Share the wisdom and tell a friend. And I appreciate, Vicki, you taking your time and joining us tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending your evening with me. And we look forward to being with you in a bunch of our other shows. Thanks again. This is Ben. I'm coming to you from the Wisdom for the Blind studios, and this is Wisdom's Geek Club. Thanks for joining us. See you next month.
Good night.
All right, so the recording is done. So anyway, we're now non-official. Vicki, Dave,
Sorry.
Vicki
So-
Preddy or Vicki Stoughton?
the person in Daytona that you should talk to is Greg. He's the VIS coordinator for
Daytona?
Daytona. Thank you very much. I got somebody burning my phone up, so I'm losing a little concentration. So it's Greg. He's the VIS coordinator. Manuel. Yeah. Not Manuel. Is it Manuel?
Yep.
Manuel. Not Manuel.
Whatever.
Yeah, Manuel. Greg Manuel. So, Vicki, it was a pleasure joining us. Vicki, good time talking with you again. Dave, thanks as always for all that you do for us. And anybody else out there, thanks. And Vicki, I would love to have a copy of your audiobook. And she's still with us? Hello? Is anybody there?
Mm-mm.
So everybody's left. Dave, you're gone. Oh well, Vicky's gone too. So. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
What would happen if all of a sudden one of your children became blind? Have you ever wondered how the world is perceived by individuals with limited vision? The 2019 American Community Survey, ACS, states that there were around 547,083 visually impaired children in the U.S. under the age of 18. And according to the American Printing House for the Blind's 2019 annual report, only 55,249 of these blind children, youth, and adults were in educational settings. Hi, I'm Benjamin Keeley, Executive Director for Wisdom for the Blind, a nonprofit 501c3 organization. Wisdom for the Blind, a nonprofit organization, has created Wisdom for Blinded Youth, w4by.org, a unique portal trying to sow a seed of inspiration to brighten up their world, bring a touch of joy to their daily routine, and help lift their spirits. We hope to share the challenges that children who are blind or low vision face daily. Empowering children and their families with knowledge will help them in the struggle to overcome them. Some of these challenges are limited access to information and education acquired through conventional means, difficulty with mobility and independence, making it harder to navigate unfamiliar environments and limiting their ability to explore the world, reduced social interaction and employment opportunities, making it difficult to develop social skills and relationships, inaccessibility to technology and the environment, prejudice, ignorance, and biases from society that adversely affect their self-esteem and may lead to depression. Wisdom for the Blind aims to empower visually impaired children and teens to grow into confident and independent individuals who can participate fully in all aspects of their life. This can be accomplished through the provision of assistive technologies, advocacy for their rights, education and training opportunities, as well as promoting inclusiveness and acceptance in society. We offer assistance and knowledge in one single portal to include events, tools, news, fitness, sports, travel, user groups, blind rehabilitation centers and training, information on children's activities and other support groups. All blinded kids and their caregivers are encouraged to explore this convenient and practical resource. The portal can be accessed from PCs, tablets, smartphones, Amazon's Alexa, and more, utilizing common tools such as browsers, dictations, and readers. We also focus on leisure activities specially designed for blinded youth, such as audiobooks and storytelling, braille games and puzzles, hobbies and activities such as sculpting, pottery, painting, photography, knitting, and so much more, music and singing, accessible sports such as beep baseball, goalball, blind soccer, skiing, running, and more. We sponsor certain outdoor activities such as hiking, fishing, and nature walks to nourish their mental growth and help them recognize their special skills. Our site is designed to make a profound impact in the lives of visually impaired children and teenagers. Share these resources with others. Connect with us on social media or on other podcasts. Email us at info@w4tb.org or visit us on our website, w4by.org. Wisdom for Blinded Youth.
At Wisdom for the Blind, we believe in the power of shared knowledge, connection, and support. Every story, every event, and every resource we offer is made possible because of you. We are a listener-supported organization, and your generosity keeps the wisdom flowing. With a one-time or monthly gift, you help us bring encouragement, community, and life-changing resources to those who need it most. Join us today because wisdom is a gift meant to be shared. Donate at w4tb.org. Click the red Donate Now button, and thank you in advance for your generosity.
You've been listening to Wisdom Tech Talk, coming to you from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with an in-studio audience at the Wisdom for the Blind Studios. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And if you know someone who's blind or vision impaired, tell them about the show. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, hit the website at www.w4bv.org. And we'll see you next time on Wisdom Tech Talk.